running out of time. She doesn't want to end up with a bunch of cats and wine. Hoes are gonna hoe. Everybody knows. Tick tock, the clock is counting down. It's only a couple years till the boys won't be around. Tick tock, it's time for the rebrand so you don't die with cats and wine. Okay, then, you know what's next, guys? What religion is the hoe gonna pick? Islam kinda gives her the ick. Too many clothes to wear, won't get enough stairs. Protestantism is the way. Hoes are gonna hoe, then go to church, everybody knows. Hoes are gonna hoe. Everybody knows. Someone said not a dry eye in the crowd. All right, then what's next, guys? So two kids later, she's standing there. Everybody stops and stares. She's not the hoe she used to be. But you guys know how it goes. Hoes are always gonna hoe. She'll ruin her family and go back to the streets. Hoes are gonna hoe. A divorce with 2 kids in tow. Hoes are gonna hoe. Everybody knows. All right, guys. That's what I got for my intro today. Thank you for watching. But please give me a freestyle word in the song. I was kind of continuing my hoes are gonna hoe. I think I have ADD or something, because I can never finish these songs. They just come off the dome and people are like, oh, produce it. Number one, nobody's gonna listen to this. You know, I mean, yeah, by the time, if I got this on Spotify, the women would literally boycott it. Like a song making fun of women, it's just over. You guys want me to sing about glut glut? Really? It's just, all right. All right, so we'll continue the hoe song. So, hoes are gonna hoe. You know how it goes. Now they all thought she was too far gone. Nobody's gonna wife that's so wrong. She's banged Tom, Dick, and Harry too. She's been with you and you and you. But then she learns, but the hoe has got something up her sleeve. Something that you won't even believe. It's called the Gluck Gluck 9000. The fuck 9000. All right, that's all I got. That's because you gotta say, oh wait, because basically, so he's got the Gluck Gluck 9000, and he thought, wait, that's how they get in the door, right? It's like he thinks that this is just for fun. He knows that he's not wifing this one, but then he doesn't pull out one time. And now he has to do the right thing blind. Hoes are gonna hoe. Everybody knows. Hoes are gonna hoe. Everybody knows. So that was how I incorporated the Gluck Gluck. Could you guys give me something a little bit different? Like, You know, give me a different word. I'll keep going today. They're like, stop, Pearl, stop. Don't do it. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I mean, I told you, I'm in my Taylor Swift era. You want me to talk about butt sex? What is wrong? Sorry. Oh my God. Is there a different choice? Syphilis? All right, so my choices are butt sex, syphilis, and money. All right, let's see if I can do one song. I'm gonna really test my writing abilities. Butt sex, syphilis, and money. When I looked at you, it wasn't about the money. Yeah, you had some, but the butterflies in my stomach made me feel funny. And I had this weird feeling in here. Oh shit, I have syphilis, my dear. And I have this weird feeling in here. Oh my God, I have syphilis in here. I guess we're gonna do anal. Guess we're gonna do anal. I think that my heart's full. We can only do anal. That was really testing my abilities. You know, because I always am trying to, when you give me words, if you're a songwriter, I'm always thinking of what storyline can I tie together. And they're like, what is happening? You guys give me some messed up stuff to write about. What about like love or something? Like what about, do you know what I mean? Like what about, I understand we're downers, but you feel that love feeling for a little bit till it goes away and she ruins your life. But we could sing about that feeling that you get for a little bit. Oh, the cat. Oh, wait. I guess we're going to do anal. That's the Catholic loophole. Oh, guess we're going to do anal. Oh, that's the Catholic loophole. That was a good lyric. That rhymed. All right, what do we got next? Gaslighting and nagging. Okay. Let me think. Hold on. What chord progression do I want to do? So if I did this one, no. I always am doing this one because it's so much easier. Guess we're gonna do anal is gonna be a #1 hit. Really? All right, you guys are, okay. I forgot what the word was. Oh, gaslighting and nagging. He's a good man. He does what he can. And he wishes that his wife would just understand. He's doing his best, forget about the rest. But he comes home to nagging. This isn't as good. Nagging, bragging. Stop asking me about the dishes. Nagging, from sagging, from his fat wife. Who's a bitch? All right, that's all I got. That's all. I think that's all I got today. You get censored. Well, what are you putting in to get censored? Do you know what I mean? It's like, you shouldn't get censored in my chat. But you guys are putting anal in the chat. Do you know what did you think was going to happen? The Swift era rocks. Thank you. All right, I guess we're going to go react to Brett Cooper. I guess we're going to go. Oh, actually, I want to do my whiteboard first. Is that all right? I'm going to write in blue and red today. Oh, there's a black one there. All right, guys. So today we're going to be, wait, here we go. This marker. All right, what up, guys? So are we good with the where it's at? Okay, yeah. All right, what up, guys? So today we're going to be reacting to Brett Cooper. But before we get too much into it, the title of her video is Get Married and Have Kids. Now, I want to make it clear that in 2025... Oh, this way? Good? More? Okay. All right, so in 2025, conservatives are always trying to push and sell marriage. Now, you might ask, why would they do this? Who cares what you're doing with your, you know what I mean? Like, it's not their business. But what they'll do is they'll try to shove marriage down your throat as a man. And I want to show you how it is actually impossible to have a traditional marriage in this country. So anything that the conservatives are saying when it comes to having a traditional marriage is actually playing pretend, because it is impossible to have it. So a traditional marriage goes God, man, woman, kid. Okay, so in a traditional marriage, the woman has to submit to the man is supposed to submit to God. Now, the problem is in this country, women own the children. Women get custody of the kids the majority of the time. They get alimony. They file for divorce the majority of the time. They are the ones filing for divorce and often leaving the man in ruins. So when there's a dynamic with two people, when you're in a deal, and you know that the other person is most likely to leave, can leave you at any time, it has the power to really ruin your life, you can't be in a traditional marriage, because who has the final say on if the marriage is traditional? As a man, I hate to break it to you fellas, it's not you. You do not have the final say. You have no say. Because if the woman, now a lot of men like to flex their masculinity here, and I don't mean to insult you. I can't imagine what it's like to be a man in this country. I really can't. I think if I was in your shoes, I think I would go crazy. I really would. I'm not, thank God. but I think I would go crazy. And so what happens in these situations is the man, they think they have some way to enforce and keep the woman and the child in line. But if we're being honest, guys, another human person, you can't fully control. You cannot control if your wife starts watching a TikTok and decides TikTok's better than you and it's time to go. You can't monitor 100% who we're friends with. I mean, hopefully you're a busy guy. You got better things to do than watch your wife 24/7, So at the end of the day, if the woman decides to be a good woman, that's up to her. It's really her choice. Now, what conservatives will say is they'll say, get married. So we have the ring here. And they'll say, find some love. So here's a girl. Woohoo. Smile. Here's a man. And we say, find love, get married, have babies. And that's really what the conservatives try to sell you. And this would make sense if they would push reform marriage first. Now, it's interesting because if you ask conservatives, they'll say, the laws will never change. We can never fix family court, and that may be true. But it's interesting because they do not have that sentiment with other issues. When it comes to trans issues, conservatives often draw a lot of attention to and push reforming some of the school system that indoctrinates trans children. But when it comes to family law, why does the Daily Wire only have, one episode every 100 talking about family court? If they're so concerned about the birth rate, and family court and the culture today, why do they not push for marriage reform so that traditional marriage can exist? Imagine if tomorrow men actually owned their children. Okay, ladies, you want traditional outcomes? Well, men get custody 100% of the time. Would conservative women be for this? Well, men always get the custody. No. And so what you're going to notice is there's a lot of things that subtly give women, I think I'm going to write this in red. Where did I put it? Oh, it's over there. Thank you. There's a lot of things that subtly give women power in this country. So an example is if you have social media, as a woman, you have access to other men. You can be visible and other men can message you at any time. The equivalent of this would be a man approaching women in a bar trying to get laid, is what men really are dealing with on full display. The other thing that women subtly have is reputation. That comes with social media. So imagine Brett Cooper, if she so chose, tomorrow she could come out and say her husband is an abuser, and all the men would, coddle her. And I'm not saying she would, right? She's one of the few divorces I don't predict, actually. I think it might work out. I wouldn't bet on it, but I would put her on more likely to work out than not work out. But that still gives her leverage. Earning her own money gives her leverage. She has the money to leave if she so chooses. So the subtle gaslighting that happens in conservatism is the women do not advocate for marriage reform. They don't advocate for deleting the social media. They don't advocate for giving up any power at all. Zero, nip, naysky, none. And yet they still market a traditional marriage. And when you ask, were you a virgin on your wedding day, that you would think would be a prerequisite, the answer is always no, naysky, nada. Now, I am not trying to impose judgment, right? I am not one to be the one to judge, but I can identify what I'm looking at. And what I often get with conservative women is they market themselves as one thing, but they are not that. Now, the equivalent would be me going to a store and I say, I want to buy bread. And they keep handing me potatoes. And I say, that's a potato. And they say, no, that's bread. And I say, I don't think that is bread. That's a potato. And it's just this subtle gaslighting that goes on forever. Now, I'm not saying being a potato in this case is wrong or bad or not the way it's supposed to be. But what I am saying is it's not what you're selling. And until there is marriage reform, you cannot have a traditional marriage in this country. It does not exist. It is a thing of the past because it's only traditional if the woman says it's traditional. If she wants to ruin your reputation on social media, she can do it. If she wants to steal your money, your house, and your children, she can do it at any time if she feels like it. I've even read stories of women going overseas and abandoning their families. And I don't say this with a happy heart, even though I do have a happy tone. It's just how I talk. But there is just it does not exist. So when conservatives say get married and have a family without the reform part, they're sending men to the slaughterhouse. Now, I think you might think you might say, Pearl, that is overdramatic. They are not doing that. Well, I actually do take it that serious. The reason I take it that serious is because men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide after divorce. If you sell a bottle of pills, if you sell a medical product, and one person dies out of 100, or even out of 200, 300, 400 men, even if it's 1 out of 500, you can get sued for pushing that product or selling that product. But with conservatives, they sell this product, but hold no responsibility over the outcome and are even dishonest about how bad your odds are. Your odds are worse than, we're going to have an essay video out this week, but your odds are worse than what they're saying. The other issue is conservatives allow women to use sex as a weapon to get what they want. So the one leverage men do have in this country, and I'm not saying they should use this, but we have to think, men do not have the power of the courts. Men do not have the power of stealing her money. Men don't really have much power when it comes to this dynamic. Now, the one power that men do have is sex, cheating, other women. We all know women behave very different when they're jealous, completely different. And I'm not recommending men use this, but conservatives say it's immoral to cheat on your wife, and you could say it is. But they do not have that same energy for women that don't sleep with their husbands. And what a lot of men wind up in is they don't want to be a bad person. But now they're in a sexless marriage, their wife is kind of fat, and they're just kind of cooked because they want to be a good person. They're not even allowed to go have sex with someone else forever. Any leverage that men do have, conservatives have a tendency to shame them out of using and saying they're bad people. Now, I am not suggesting it's a good thing that men do it, but I sometimes think, can I blame them? Can I blame guys for doing whatever means possible to get any sort of leverage in this country? They have none. They don't have the police on their side. They don't have the media. They don't have anything. So at times I can see where they're coming from. Conservatives are almost worse in a way than liberals, because at least the liberal women are honest. They're up front. They say, I'm a whore. I like sex, yada, yada. Conservatives try to shame men into doing this. They suggest they're bad people if they don't want to enter in a contract that does not favor them. And you see this shaming language all the time from men on the right. Even Candace Owens recently had an interview with Nick F., and she was shaming him for not wanting to enter in a contract that completely favors the woman. It's not traditional. It can't be traditional. And you can tell that the men have no leverage in these marriages because of how their wives act. So anyways, that's my 2 cents for that. We're going to go into the reaction. What? Oh, yeah, I can pull it. Do you want me to, or are you going to? I'll push it, okay. Okay. So we're going to watch. So again, I want to see if she advocates for the laws changing first. I actually haven't seen the full thing, so I could be wrong. Well, but I know how the tradcons talk.
Is not just a life.
Brett, keep covering this stuff, please. It's giving me stuff to do. And you know how much easier it is to cook you than the guys? Cooking women is just so much easier. Oh my gosh, like, please keep doing this, okay?
Style choice. It is the infrastructure for a family, and that infrastructure is quickly collapsing, and so are the birth rates. Here's why. Structure is quickly collapsing. So if you've been following the news over the last year, if you've watched any of my videos, then you've probably heard about the birth rates falling and how.
Okay, hold on, $10 super chat. I agree, but there are more men who want marriage than women. The issue is that the men that women don't want marriage, and if women can't get those men, they just play the field. Yeah, I know. That's the other part of female nature. Oh, I forgot it over there. Could you? That's the other female nature. Conservatives have this idea that women are just. It's okay. I'll get it. Hold on, I'll get it. It's right here. conservatives have this idea that women are just getting pumped and dumped. But to be honest, now ugly women don't count. Yes, ugly women get pumped and dumped. But if you're fat, I mean, that's your own choice. You're choosing. At that rate, you're choosing to get pumped and dumped. Like, I mean, seriously. So that's a choice. That is a choice you made. But I would say hot women pump and dump men more than men pump and dump them. Seriously, the women that men want to marry that are the most desirable don't want to settle down. It's not the men that don't want to settle down.
Such a big issue, not just in America, but around the world. It is something that countries around the globe, from here to Korea, are dealing with on a massive scale. But here is what nobody is actually talking about, and that is the fact that Americans' desire for large families has continued to increase. Take a look at this graph. In blue, you'll see that that is 3 or more children, and while there was a massive decline...
Now again, conservatives have the problem of taking what women say seriously. So... ironic coming from me, I know. But so they'll, again, because conservatives have a tendency to not understand female nature. Men that have banged a lot of women know that women go through different phases in their life. And oftentimes the woman, especially men that have been in casual relationships with women over time, the woman they meet at 18 is not the same woman they're still banging at 25. Women go through phases. Just because women say they want something, it does not mean they actually want it. And sometimes it's not even, it's the women don't even know it, that they don't want it. So I'll give you an example. If you have a fat friend, and he's just super fat, and they keep eating a lot of food and not going to the gym, that means they want to be fat. Now, they might not say, if you ask them, they might say, well, no, I want to be thin. But the choices they're making suggest they want to be fat, right? And it's the same thing with women. You know, if women wanted to be in relationships, women would be. If women wanted to be married, we would be. We got to stop taking the, and this is what I'm saying, like a lot of times, Kevin Samuels had a phrase, and this is kind of an uncomfortable phrase. Women go through a slut phase when they're ready to settle down. This is a true thing. This is an uncomfortable part of female nature. Because to some extent, dating is a numbers game for women. I knew a girl, she was dead set. She wanted to get married by 22. She said, I will be married by 22. This girl banged 10 dudes in the year. I swear to God, I swear on my life. And the 10th was her husband. And then she was done. She was out of the game forever by 22. So what happens is a lot of times we prioritize other things. I'm not saying it's wrong or bad to prioritize those other things. I'm really not. I'm not saying it's immoral or whatever. But I try to make that distinction. But what I am saying is if women want it, we have the option to download Hinge and go on a date every day of the week until we meet somebody that, imagine if men had the option to get 5,000 women ready to go, willing to meet them, go on a date tomorrow, and they wanted to be married in a year. Do you think men would be married by the end of the year? They would. They would. And that's, we keep treating women with these like kid gloves. If women wanted to, we would. We would. So we could say we want 3 kids, but if we're not having 3 kids, then we don't want 3 kids. Point, case, simple. You know, because another big tell that women want to be married is we stop going for men out of our league. Because women, we have a tendency to want both. Like, we'll be like, oh, well, I want to date the hot guy. And you're like, well, you're going to have sex with him pretty much immediately. He'll wait like a week because he's hot and he doesn't have to not. And you'll have a risk of getting ghosted. So now the burden of performance, that's on you. You got to work really hard now. And they're like, well, no, I don't want it. I want no risk. And it's like, well, that's life. You know what I mean? So it just goes back to, I mean, there's nothing in life you can have without risk. I knew another girl, okay, and she actually went the more traditional route. I say if you're a woman and you want to go the traditional route, You have till like 23 to do it. Any guy that does that after that really is kind of a sucker, to be honest, because now he's just taking the woman's word that she's pure. At 23, you could kind of be like, have plausible deny. You could lie good enough, I guess, but I don't know. 24, we got to start treating you like an adult. So, I did know another woman who was, again, she wanted to wait till she was married, and she was dead set on being a virgin on her wedding day. She was Catholic, and she went to a Catholic university. She picked a Catholic dorm to stay in, and this woman was husband hunting. She did not prioritize class. She was on a mission. I'm going to be honest. This girl was on a mission, and she was married by 23. I think she did it a year later, but it close enough, right? Yeah, give you that girl. I mean, but even that girl, let's be honest, she still did something. I'm just being honest here. Not all the way, but it's like they'll find a way around it. But it doesn't matter, whatever. She got what she wanted. And that's my point. If women wanted to, we would. That's it. Point blank, case, period. The only, like, when you want something, you take action. It's kind of, I'll give you another example. So when I wanted to be a YouTuber, I wanted to go into media. I was insane. I quit my job and I posted like between probably 10 to 30 videos a day at times. I would get up, I would do some reactions on YouTube, then I would go to TikTok, film like 10, 20. So that's taking action. But the challenge I see with a lot, like, and this was when I was in that non-denominational church I saw this the most. They want no action, like nothing's going to happen. So again, if we wanted 3 kids, we would have 3 kids. That's it. I don't really care what people say. It's like, what did you do? Now, a lot of people say, well, what about money? And you could argue everything is getting more expensive. I'm not even saying people should have 3 kids. But there's a way to prioritize, like, I knew people that did not make a high income that had 3 or 4 children. It's possible. There's ways to do it. Catholic dorms sound to me like anal trained dorms. Look at my dorms had trans people in. I can't say that on you. I swear. My school is one of the first schools to allow trans people in our dorms. I never experienced a Catholic dorm. I didn't. I can't say. But women do find a lot of workarounds for the religious thing. We do have a tendency. I don't think she did that, but it doesn't matter. But we have a tendency to find every workaround possible.
That number of people that are wanting 3 or more children has been steadily increasing since.
And remember, the worst thing you can sell to somebody is hope. I think it's the worst thing. Because you get people's hopes up just to destroy them later. And that's what they do. They say, oh, look at this poll. There's a boom coming back. And I'm like, okay, let me get this straight. The entire economy was built now. There's housing built for single people. There is all of these businesses revolving around single people. The birth rate is going down every year. The marriage rate is also going down. When is this trend going to change? But they sell you hope because they want to sell you a dream, so you sign up. I'm honest here. I'm a doomer. This is the doomer channel. And I don't think we really need to be doomers for real. It's not like you were born 100 years ago where you have to go to war and get your head blown off. I mean, relationships are just harder for our generation. That's it. It's not the end of the world. As a guy, you can just get a hotter girl after. Let's look at the bright side here, This is just our generation's thing. And I don't think it's so bad, with all I can take ballet classes as an adult. That used to be only offered to kids. How cool is that, So it's just a different world. It's not what the past is. Is it really what's going to be in the future?
around 2008, 2010. It definitely took off around 2015. So based on this graph and based on the statistic.
Okay, you said there's no bright side. You could still have a good life. Why is a woman dependent on your life being good? A woman's actions, and I'm not going to tell you as a man how to live your life, but being outcome independent is you're not in control. If you're religious, if you're not, it's either the powers that be, a higher power, whatever it is, someone else is in control. It's not you. You cannot control another person. You can't. And again, my dad and his wisdom, I always talk about him. That was something he taught me growing up. I asked him, because I had pretty free-range parents. They really let us kind of do whatever, if I'm being honest. We did not have helicopter parents. And one time I asked my dad, I was just curious. I was thinking, Dad, why did you let us do whatever? Like, why did you guys not helicopter parent us? Because we all turned out pretty okay. There's no crack addicts or anything, you know. And he told me, he said, because if you try to control somebody, they'll resent you for it. And they will hate you for trying to control them. I don't control people. I don't. And I really think that's what we're going through in life is there's some people want to be able to control their woman, and it's either she naturally listens or she doesn't. You cannot control another person. You can't control an employee. You can't even control your friends. But I think life begins, to be honest, as a person, when you give up control and just realize someone else is in control. It's not us. You said control is good. Yeah, if she gives it to you, but she has to give it to you. So it's either she willfully submits or she doesn't. Odds are your wife probably isn't. I don't know a single wife that doesn't struggle with submission. I really don't. I don't know one. And like, can you imagine, and every person I know that's had like helicopter parents that impose their will on them, they go nuts after. They like, I'm just thinking if I was in Matt Walsh's house, that would just suck. Imagine that guy's like nagging you all the time. I mean, because at some point the kid becomes their own person. And I think that's what women are going through. They're saying, look, we're our own people. We're these big fat whores and we just want to eat a lot of food and just be sluts, you know. I'm rambling a little bit. You'll have to forgive me, but, you know, yeah.
People do still want to have families. They want to have children. And despite this desire for children, fertility rates in the United States have continued to drop. They have dropped from 2.1 to 1.6. So if it's not that people just don't want kids, then what is it? We're going to talk about that. Before we do, though, make sure that you...
Now she's going to blame everything else. It's not, and I'll be honest, I interviewed 1,000 people. Women don't want children because the alternatives are more fun. It really boils down to that. Do I want to marry my high school sweetheart and live in my hometown? Or do I want to move to a big city, go to the big events, go to all the fun parties, do this cool career, do this cool, whatever it is. Some women there's like hobby communities now. Women are picking hobby communities over kids. And they're going to blame all these other things like money or whatever. But I mean, women could forego college and partying at college to save money and have a family. I mean, we're getting married at 30 now. You have a decade to save if you want 3. I mean, I understand 3 kids isn't for everybody at 30, but some women do. My point is, if you're saying it's money, you have a decade to save now to have kids. You do.
Like this video, subscribe to our channel if you've not already, and of course ring that notification bell to make sure that you stay up to date on every single one of our episodes. And if you want to be in the know about all live events and upcoming things that we are doing, make sure to check out brettcooper.com. That will be the hub for all of that information. So of course, if you pay attention to the culture war, if you are involved in the socio-political landscape, all the discourse that happens on X, then you will probably see people on the left blaming the fertility crisis on climate change or the economy. The right will also blame the economy, but they'll also say that it is about health and the fact that women cannot have children anymore or they're starting too late. And there probably is some truth to all.
Now remember, Women are not able to have kids because they got chlamydia too many times. That's the uncomfortable truth that we don't want to talk about. They say there's an infertility crisis. A lot of people want to blame it on birth control. More often and more common, it's you got gonorrhea, chlamydia, it went untreated, and now they're infertile. And that's just an L in life.
Of this, based on individuals and what people's values are. Like, I'm sure that those are all factors. But today, I don't want to talk about that. I've done plenty of episodes on that back on comment section. Here, we have talked about that ad nauseum. Today, I want to turn your attention to what I believe, in my opinion, is potentially the biggest root cause. I don't think that our society and our country has just a fertility issue. I think that we have a marriage issue that is now leaning into and causing this fertility crisis.
She's not gonna blame the women. There are many men that want kids and want to be husbands and fathers. The women don't. She's also going to use this as a way to virtue signal because conservative women can't help but use their marriage and family to build their brand. So it's definitely going to be marketing for her in this. I'm going to guess. I haven't actually seen this. I knew the kind of takes this brings.
Because it's not wrong. The fertility rates have been dropping for decades. What, people like Donald Trump and JD Vance and Elon Musk are talking about, what they are signaling the alarm bells about, like that is all real. That is happening. However, the most notable drop was among women between 20 and 24 years old, while it did increase among women between 25 and 29-year-olds slightly, but there was a much bigger increase between women 35 to 39 years old. And what is the reason there? Well, women are getting married later. We know that. Most women are not getting married at 20 years.
Yeah, because feminism is a strategy to use as much of our youth on ourselves instead of our future husbands. And remember, anyways, I'll wait.
Old anymore. They're not like me getting married at
Oh yeah, I knew she was gonna bring it in. They can't help themselves. Women can never get married. Like conservative women can never get married and not use it to build their brand. They'll gaslight you that they do it. I pointed this out once and I started an e-girl war. Their private moments can never just be private, right? Like Brett Cooper gets married. It's a complete editorial, like magazine thing. I'm not faulting her for doing it. I'm not saying it's wrong, right? But I'm pointing out what it is. Candace Owens, it's the same thing. They put their kids on the internet and there's pedophiles on Twitter. They don't care. And to be fair, the men do the same thing in this one. I mean, Matt Walsh, he's saying that his kids are getting death threats. And I'm like, well, isn't it the consequences of your own actions? And in a way, and not to be rude, but I'm just being honest here. Because you can kind of have an excuse if I didn't know. I understand there's growing pains when you get on the internet, but you just, their cookies are like super fun sites. Call in the EPA. Careful, man.
22 or whatever it was, they're now getting married at 28, 29, and 30, and then after that is when they will start having children. And therefore,
Correct.
Lawmakers around the world are flailing. They are desperately trying to figure out what they can do to encourage their citizens to have more babies. I mean, we're seeing that in America right now under the Trump.
It's going to go back to two things. Do we give women choice or do we not give women choice? And that's really what you got to ask yourself as a guy. Do you want a woman there out of obligation or because she wants to be there? Because these are the choices we have. And if you give women choice, women go for 20% of men and they stay because, if you give women choice, we go for 20-ish% of men and we'll just keep fighting over those men. If you give women no choice, then we stay out of obligation. And I know a lot of people say in the past, no, the women wanted to be there. I don't trust what women say. I trust what they do. And as soon as women got the power to leave and the opportunity, we did. What does that indicate? Thomas Conservative, guilty as charged. Sometimes I super chatter to tell us as much as possible to anger liberal women, which is fun.
Presidency. The Trump admin is literally pushing for what they are calling a baby boom with all of these incentives to inspire Americans to make it easier.
You cannot pay women to procreate with average men on their own volition. They will continue to try to give these incentives. Women are going into debt just to not reproduce with average men. I'm being honest to the average guys out there. We love you, but women don't. And even the women that virtue signal on these shows, they marry into millions of dollars, okay? And if we look at their actions, women are saying, I would rather go into debt than marry you. I would rather get ghosted by 10 Chads than marry you. I would rather play out my luck in a city than marry you. I would rather do some stupid marketing job than marry you. That's what women are communicating. And the government thinks you can give women money to marry average men. Women are not going to do it. We're going to get into the same problem. Women won't even lose weight. That's the worst part is a lot of women could get the 20% of men, but we won't lose weight. We will not do it.
Baby bonus, another proposal is to give every newborn a $1,000 investment account. And contrary to popular belief, it's not just people in more conservative countries that are concerned about this, like in Korea or Hungary. It's not just Republicans in America that are concerned. I mean, Zohran Mamdani in New York is literally running on the idea of free childcare to make things, easier for parents.
Yeah, women don't want to be mothers so much. We don't want to reproduce with average men or give up our leverage. So, work. Now women, we want to give, and remember, all the politicians are going to cater to the women. We're going to get free IVF and daycare in our lifetime, I'm going to call it. It's too far gone. And I keep trying to reiterate this. 80% of consumer buying decisions are made by women. That means 80% of all purchases, 80% of people are paid by women. You are not going to change this economy. There is going to have to be a decline. When it's going to happen, that's the question. I think I'll be old. I'm already old, but I'll be super old then,
But as I've said time and time again when we have talked about those proposed incentives, I don't think any of that actually solves the root problem, because what we really need to turn the fertility rate around is a marriage boom. We'll dive back in, but first, a quick word from our...
Oh my God, this is going to be a dumb take. A marriage boom. Okay. You're going to have the same thing happen if you're paying women to leave. If you're paying women to leave, it's just going to be another round of men taking L's. That's it. There will be the same thing will happen.
$40 off plus free...
Dear God, will she advocate for the laws changing first? She won't. That's why the conservatives are full of shit. I get angry because I used to consume a lot of this content. And you realize they're full of shit because if you really wanted traditional marriage, that's what you would advocate for. You would say change the laws, then have the family and the kids. But they wave their hands. There's no other issue that they will say is a lost cause but this one. How convenient is that? How convenient is that? They don't say the trans issue is a lost cause. They keep debating that. They don't say that lowering taxes is a lost cause. But this issue, they're so fearful of women that they won't be the one to say it. Fathers. Now, I can negotiate. I'll say 50-50 custody, no child support, no alimony. There's my starting deal. I think that's fair. But really, if we really want to get patriarchal, which is what they say they're advocating for, why don't men get 100% custody? Why can't they own the children? Why not? They raise better, all the data indicates they raise better children. Why not? They're not the ones breaking up marriages. Oh, but he might leave you for someone younger. Okay, then be nice to him and maybe he won't. Men are actually pretty loyal creatures. If you're just nice, a lot of times they'll stick around. No, I'm not the real trad. You guys got to sell. But what I'm saying is if you're going to sell that, then sell it. And that's what I get irritated. Sell it. If you're going to sell me on marriage, sell me on a traditional marriage and make it real. Don't sell me this play pretend bullshit. It's all play pretend. You're not in a traditional marriage if you're on social media streaming. You're not. How many, and I'm just, this is graphic, this is awkward to say, but how many men are jacking off to Brett Cooper on the internet? Like, let's be real here. That's really awkward to say, right? But is that traditional? Now, I'm not saying they're wrong for doing it. I don't think she's wrong. But this is what irritates me is they want all the benefits of a modern marriage while marketing it as traditional. Give up your leverage. If you really believe in this, give up your leverage. Give it up. Give 100%. Give up the show, give up the social media. And I'm not saying you should. Give it up and advocate for marriage reform first so we can have a traditional marriage. You got to start negotiating with the men.
For life when you start a new subscription today. Because here's the thing, guys. In line with what we were talking about at the top of this episode, looking at those graphs, birth rates are far higher among women who are married. 85% of US births still happen within a marriage. So let's just look at some of these marriage statistics. So for example, in 1960, the median age at a first marriage was estimated to be 20 years old for women and around 22, almost 23 for men. But by 2023, the median age at first marriage had increased for women by 8 years and for men by 7 years. And this next chart here is probably the craziest. This is the percentage of US women between the ages of 20 to 44. So this is not just that they're getting married later, but 20 to 24 years of age who are married. That drop is insane. Like, we talk about birth rates all the time. Oh no, they're crashing. What about this? And I know the conservatives talk about marriage and we encourage marriage, but like seeing this in a graph is astounding. Like
Okay, because you're all playing pretend, all of you. None of you are in traditional marriages. Were you a virgin on your wedding day, Brett? How many dudes hit before you got me? Can we just be real here? If you got hit by 5 dudes in college, are you really in a traditional marriage if the 6th or the 7th, the 8th, 10th, 15th, 25th? I mean, she went to a big school. You know, she was from LA. I'm giving you 10 bodies. I'm giving you mentally 10 bodies. Sorry. You're not going to tell me a story about being, and I don't mean this to be rude, but I just want to be real here. It's all play. There's a dude out there that hit that's kind of laughing at the guy that's laughing at the dude paying full price. I'm just being honest here. It's all play pretend. It sounds good. It sounds good on paper, but again, that's not traditional.
Been a profound, huge cultural shift because marriage is no longer the default for young people. However, people do still want kids. Allegedly, they say that they do. They say that they crave families. They say that they crave big families with 3 or more children. However, they are simply not forming the stable relationships that enable it. And I think that this is an important point to touch on because I think for people, especially on the right, we often talk about how our culture is just so backwards and progressive and, nobody even wants to have a family anymore and everybody's having children out of wedlock. But the truth is, the number of people having children outside of wedlock not being married has not increased. It's just that people are not getting married. So delaying marriage, therefore, means delaying children in our culture. I guess we're still a little bit traditional, good for us, which
just such a dumb Brett, marriage is getting delayed because women want to party before having kids. And I could see it, I mean, clearly, because I think she's pregnant or she had a quick kid. And I don't mean this to be rude, but we need to be honest. We need to be real here. Marriage and family is not the center of your life. It's not the center of Candace's. It's not the center of any of these e-girls' lives. Because if it was, they wouldn't be doing it. And maybe it's not pragmatic that it is. I mean, she can make a bunch of money, have generational wealth for the kids. Again, but it's not what they're selling.
Ultimately leads to higher infertility risks and fewer total births. That right there is the crux of our fertility decline, the fertility crisis that we are seeing in America. So Why is that happening? Now we get into all of the really interesting socio-cultural stuff that we see on social media, all of the debates, all the discourse between men and women. Now, in another episode, we covered the red pill movement and why men are having a hard time finding women. I'm not sure when we're going to be releasing that episode because this is pre-maternity leave, Brett. But in this episode specifically, I want to get into the femcells and their side of things. But before we keep going, I want to thank today's sponsor. All right, guys, here's the deal. Sainthood is not just for the perfect, it is for the who are either accidentally or intentionally exiting the dating pool, kind of like the flip side to the incels that we see on the internet. These are women who are not dating, and often they chalk it up to the education.
They're getting banged by somebody, Brett. I mean, let's call a spade here.
And financial gap.
And the thing is, we don't talk about social media gives women the attention from men, so we don't need it from like a lot of women, we get attention from so many men in our lives, either men in the friend zone, online, whatever. You don't need attention from the husband anymore, unfortunately.
Between the two sexes. And to be fair, a lot has changed in that regard because for centuries, women had always married across and up from their status. But what happens when women start outperforming men? What happens when they become more educated than their male counterparts? Because women now in America in 2025 outpace men in terms of college graduation and advanced degrees. And according to a Bank of America report from back in January, women are also outpacing men in both income and in spending growth. And what this inevitably creates is a bottleneck because women are claiming that there aren't enough high status men to go around because they still want to date across or up from their perceived status, which they define through their education and income, which obviously makes sense. But in my opinion, I think that the bigger issue here is not the college degrees or the income, but it's the fact that these women do not want to get married at all because they require whoever they marry to fit into this box and this life that they have created with no compromises.
Now, again, Brett Cooper married a 6-foot-tall, Aryan-looking white guy worth millions of dollars. This is not to criticize. If anything, that's an inspiration. I mean, she went from being emancipated at 16 to marrying into being a celebrity e-girl, marrying into all this wealth, right? But for her to say, ladies, date average men, date the men outside of the box, while having married a guy that's probably 3 points looks higher than her, is a little bit hypocritical, right? I would say that's a bit hypocritical. Candace did the same, we can't, it's.
They are not willing to take any responsibility, to take any kind of accountability. They need you to fit in with them,
Now,
no bending or anything.
To be fair, she cashed out young, and I thought, wow, I'm surprised. I did not think she would cash out young. I did not. I thought she would wait till a little bit older. But here's the e-girl life cycle. If they cash out young, they will give up nothing. And then she took a Fox News commentator position. I thought, well, can't say I'm shocked. Can't say I'm shocked. Why? And then she started posting like personal family stuff on Twitter, and I just thought, well, she's using the family to build the brand. Because when men go to work, like Tucker Carlson is an example. Tucker Carlson goes to work and he just like focuses on the news, right? He just says the news. Now, he does have the occasional family photo, whatever. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't do it at all, like a little bit, fine. But it's women, we just have a tendency that we always use the family and the marriage to help us look like good people. We can never let our actions speak for themselves, right? We have to use the kids and the husband to build our reputation. Now, a lot of the e-girls, they get mad at me. They say, oh, but Pearl, that's good. That's a good thing. Isn't that what we want? We can make the culture better. And I think, well, yeah, but it's at the expense of driving everybody insane around you. I mean, as a man, can we do a poll in the chat? Do you want to be marketing for your girl's Instagram? And I think as women, we just have no idea how many concessions men make in order to make us happy. They have such a need to solve our problems that they say they don't care, but really deep down, I mean, it's kind of like women when you pretend that you like Bitcoin or whatever, like the random history thing. I'm weird. I like the history stuff, but in general, politics, to appease the guy, but really deep down, we don't make many concessions. So that's all I could think about. I think we give up pretty much nothing to be in relationships. But men give up stuff all the time. They give up their friends, their free time, a lot of times even their family. And now they're giving up their privacy, and that's the future, men giving up their privacy to be in relationships.
Now, one author whose name is Justin Murphy wrote on X that somewhere in high school or college, these women came to the view that maximizing their independence would be pure upside. No matter what happens, they will enjoy material security, and then once that security is achieved, they'll have the most leverage to get the best possible match. Quote, if I never get a match, I'll be fine because I have this career and I'm independent, but also this will probably help me get a great match because a master's degree and a career and a business are all unalloyed goods.
Now, I will actually disagree with I know men don't like women with money or whatever. It is a strategy for unattractive women to get in the room with men that make a lot of money and are out of their leagues. I see this a lot in finance. When I was in London, there would be a lot of finance couples where they both worked in finance and the woman was a lot less attractive than the man. She had to use her brain to get in that room. Maybe she sucked a few guys to get there too. I mean, I wouldn't put that out of the question. But now the other women, he has to see after work. They get like a few hours of his time. She can put the moves on him all day. All day. Build his trust, show the kind of person she is. That's a strategy. So really, I think moreover, women... I don't think it's really about money because women spend so much money. I think it's we want jobs to get in the rooms with these men. I think on a subconscious level, that's more of what it is.
This is not a particularly evil mindset, but it is new. And
you're hoping I'm an exception. Oh my God, please take me off of the pedestal, please. Can you just assume like I've done something crazy? Please, God, that's the one thing with fame is people start to put you on a pedestal. And I'm like, look, I can't live up to that. I just cannot. No, I'm bad. Yeah, don't. Please, God. It's just, have you learned nothing? Have you learned nothing from this show? It's just, oh my gosh. Yeah, pretend I'm Bonnie Blue. That's better. I would rather, yeah. I mean, that's just, look, because it's like this. Every woman's got something. And that's the mindset you should have as a man, is that every woman has something and every woman's life depends on you not finding out. That's because historically, biologically, if a woman was a super slut and the tribe found out, what would happen? She'd be dead. They'd like sacrifice her to the gods or something. You know what I mean? And this did not, remember, even that didn't stop women from being whores. So look, that's really the mindset I'd recommend as a guy. Now, I understand if you're thinking, Pearl, you can't tell me anything. You've never dated these terrorists. And I understand that. Okay, I really do. But I would recommend you would take a lot less L's if you just assume every woman is a super slut. Yeah.
It is essentially selfish, and it just happens to be based on a tragically false model of the world. Once a woman has financial independence, she is less likely to want any man, while all the...
Yeah, and the reason women get a certain lifestyle, a lot of times it's a lifestyle we can't afford. So you move into these cities, right? You get your own apartment. You're used to living alone. You can now go to all the cool events. You can do your hobbies. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm on the front lines. I talk to people every day. That's what I'm seeing. Women get older and they have this lifestyle. They don't want to go down in lifestyle for a family. They don't. So
Yes, men are less likely to want her, and at the same time, she now feels even more entitled to the best men. And that line right there, I think, is the most important thing that he wrote. And you'll see a lot of people on social media, specifically on X, doing dissertations on this in the comment section where they say, men would rather date a Waffle House waitress. They don't want a woman who is ambitious or successful. That's ridiculous. I really don't think that's the point. I think that a lot of high achieving men like women who are successful and are intelligent, have degrees, whatever it is.
That's because that's what the men trying to bang Brett said to her. So they'll say, "Oh, I like a woman with the reason." I'll tell you, I'm on the front lines here. So men, if they go for high earning women, there's a few reasons they do that. Men are pragmatic. So one is some men do it to alleviate risk. There's some men that are high earning. They're not attracted to the money, but they assume, sometimes right, sometimes wrong, that if a woman earns a lot of money and has something to lose, she's less likely to crash out if things go wrong. Sometimes that's a right assumption, sometimes it's not. Another reason, I did know a guy that went for high earning women because he did not make a lot of money and he wanted somewhere to stay, and rent was high in London, so that was his strategy. Um, the other reason is three, they're just more convenient and there. Again, if a guy is working 15 hours at a finance job or another high earning profession, and there's another girl that works in finance and she's there all day, men are, men like things that are easy, convenient, and pragmatic. So if it's a lot of work to go find the other woman, and this woman, at least he sees her at work, she's not cheating at work, he's known her for a bit. That's why. That's how it generally happens. You could tell me if there's other things you've seen. I have not really seen it to be a selling point. Women are always came easier if I treated them cheaply. Oh, another strategy is sometimes men feel as if the woman is very busy, she will cheat less. Women, if we want to do something, we'll just find the time, so I wouldn't really... I've heard some men use it as a strategy if the guys tend to be beta at her work. So I knew somebody that liked female engineers because the female engineers are at work all day, and it's like it's not like engineer guys are known for having the sauce, So he's like not really too worried about her cheating there. These are or for some reason, they find one high-earning girl. It's kind of like, okay, so a lot of times, I've been the first redhead a guy's dated, right? And then after, they just keep dating redheads. Sometimes if guys find a niche, like, something works with an Asian girl, like they date an Asian girl and they had a good experience, they'll just keep going for Asians. If a guy dates a female lawyer, God help him, but somehow has a good experience, he'll just keep going for the female lawyers, because he kind of knows what they're about. It's kind of easy. Again, it goes back to being pragmatic. It's not like they're like dying to have our money in a way. By the way, guys, if you want to support me, these women get angry when I do these streams. I'm not saying that she will, but there's nothing like scorned women. And if you want me to be YouTube free in case they kick me off again, they put me on a government watch list. They ruined my life for a year and a half. Hit piece. And I earned this. I did this. This was a choice. But I would love to get enough members on the website so we could be YouTube free at theaudacitynetwork.com. That's theaudacitynetwork.com. I want a ginger man, help a sister. I'll tell you how to find gingers, okay? If that's your niche, I will tell you how I would recommend if you like girls that kind of have my look, okay, I'll tell you where I would find a younger, hotter version, okay? I want better for you. So what I would recommend, and I think I've said this on a previous show, so you want women before we have standards, right? Because the older we get, the more standards and requirements. Because we'll date one guy and say, ooh, I didn't like that about him. So let me go to the next guy and then bang this guy and then be like, ooh, I didn't like that. So then we're more specific in what we're looking for. When we're young, we have like no standards. We'll just bang about anything. It's like, I mean, you go to like a club with young women, it's like you get the punani, you get the punani. We just give it out, you know. Um, Shill accomplished. Thank you, Patrol. $100 super chat. Dang, thank you, thank you. To this show? He said give it 3? Wow. Third time. Oh, okay. Thank you. That's awesome. I appreciate it. What I'd recommend, there is a redhead convention. But there's a lot of girls that look like me on college campuses, and you can look them up. Usually, like I'm not going to say the state I'm in, but if I Googled the schools that are around me, right? And you Google their rosters, you can get the tall, if you're into tall redheaded women, you can literally, there's girls that look like me on every college campus. Now, usually women, their friends all look alike. So if a girl is tall, you go through her following and you see the girls that she follows. She's bound to have girls that look alike. Now, I don't know the logistics of messaging women. I'm just telling you where to find if you're into the height thing. Volleyball clubs, beach. If you go to beach volleyball, anyways, that's my 2 cents. You like gingers with brown eyes? I went to college and I had a roommate that looked just like me. People thought we were sisters. It was crazy. But we were both on the basketball team because I don't know what it is. I think redheads tend to be tall. Pretty much every redhead I've known has been pretty tall. I don't know. I that could be statistically wrong. That's just been maybe it's because I'm in sports, but yeah. But literally, if you go on college websites, there's you can look them up on Instagram and Facebook. They're on there. Probably they're Gen Z now, so it's probably Insta and Snap.
Maybe one of them wants to date a Waffle House waitress. I don't really care, but I don't think that that is unilaterally true. And in my opinion, I think that it is less that the best men don't want
Cope
on her because of her success or her ambition, but because of that entitlement that Justin touched on. Because again, what I was saying earlier, these types of women require that a potential partner play second fiddle to her career and her ambition and her success, and that
her husband's gonna have to do the same thing. And this isn't a bad, I actually think more women should work because we're not traditional, so you might as well contribute. And this is always what I've said. Most men earn average money. If the woman could contribute and he could retire 20 years earlier, why would you not want that? Why are you so selfish? And everyone's going to say, but Pearl, she needs to raise the kids. Okay, my grandma had 13 children. We're having 1.5. I think we have the time. And there's divorce lawyers that go through this. Where there's James Sexton, I think he had an episode recently. He talked about how he would go through a stay-at-home moms, what they did in a day. And most of them did not do a lot. He would go through, okay, how many times did you do the laundry? How long did that take? A lot of this stuff is automated. So I am not anti-women working at all. But again, it goes back to what are we selling? Is this what we're selling? Men don't really want a career, but they don't want a stupid woman that's going to be so dumb and cause them problems all day. So at times, okay.
He fits into this perfect life that she has spent years creating rather than being interested in building a life together. And I think this is one of the most beautiful parts of getting married young is that you get to create a life with your significant other. And so many people are against that and they say, actually, you need to go out and you need to have all of the life experiences. You needed to get the job that you want.
Would Brett Cooper have married her husband before she had accomplished what she did in her career? No, come on. Let's call a spade a spade. No. And so again, she's going to say to do it, but she's only going to do it after she accomplished what she accomplished. And I think it's good on her, right? She seems like she works hard. She's smart. But again, I don't like being sold something that we're not being honest about what it is.
and buy your dream house and get the car and do all the vacations that you want, and then you can find a partner to fit into that world. But that's so hard because then you've created this entire life. You're almost like a fully formed.
Women talk, men who talk are really just women in disguise. Women talk, men listen. Men who talk are just women in disguise.
Human being, and it's much harder to incorporate another human being into that life. And I think so many people, especially on the left, and this was especially popular with millennials, will say, no, don't get married young, don't settle down young, because you need to accomplish all of these things before you get married and before you settle. You need to do the vacations that you want to go on. You need to buy the right cars. You need to get the right job. You need to buy your dream house. And then you can think about settling down and falling in love. But what happens when you've built this entire life by yourself, when you're so hyper independent? It becomes incredibly hard to fit.
Do you know why else I think women should work? I'm really pro women working. We have all these easy jobs. Women's working isn't even working. So the guy, like, let's imagine a couple in this dream world. The guy is a plumber or an electrician or doing some kind of manual labor, which a lot of men do in this country. And the woman gets to have a marketing job where she works from her laptop at home for, let's say, $40,000 a year. Over the course of $40K a year, let's say they save 10 grand a year, which it could be more, but let's say 10, actually, let's say 40 grand times 20 years. That's $800,000 she could contribute to generational wealth. That's a college fund for their kids. That's a house. Why would you not? That's how I feel about it. I mean, that's because the average guy is making $60,000, $70,000 a year. I think that's even above average. But let's say most women aren't going to marry these rich guys. So why would you not? Like, if you could save the guy from doing some manual, like if he could retire a decade earlier, that wouldn't be anything you'd want to do? No? You do? Okay. All right.
Another fully formed human being into that life. And so for a lot of people, I think that they just go, I'm just going to reject it because nobody's good enough. And in my opinion, I think that a lot of this.
Do you know how that sounds? You know what? Let me find my chart. I did an autistic level chart of the average net worth of conservative e-girls' husbands. I am that autistic. Hold on, I'm going to find it one sec. You can play it.
Seen all of this play out in front of our eyes. I mean, Alex Cooper of Call Her Daddy is a perfect example of this. We actually talked about her also in the Red Pill dating episode, because her whole philosophy is be a man, have sex with whoever you want, build your life, focus on you, punish men for the things that you believe they have done to you or other women, and then you'll get around to getting married or doing the other things later. But right now, girl boss and treat them like crap. And these types of attitudes have led to an entire generation.
Okay. I am autistic. So, by the way, this is alleged, what I found online. Some of these, let's see. I forgot. I got the, do you know what? I might not have calculated it in this, but these are the rough numbers I found. 31% had kids below 25, 41% 25 to 29. 23% 30 to 35, but these were offset by the older, like the Gen X, so it would be lower. These are the net worths of the husband. If they married young, I just put something like 5,000, 10,000-ish. Riley Gaines met her husband in college, so that was young. The transformed wife, these are all the young ones, 30,000. I just put in low numbers. All right. All right, we got Lauren Chen, $1 million. Saren Gonzalez, $1 million. Bryson's wife, $1 million. No offense, love you guys, but that was what was on the internet. $14 million. Candace Cameron Bure, Caitlin Bennett. Is that $2 million? Yeah, okay, here we go. Oh, wait, can I not read these right? This computer sometimes is too far for me to read it, but it's okay. Allie Beth Stuckey, $3 million. Chrissy Mayer, $3 million. Dana Losh, $3 million. I mean, do you know what I mean? It's just a little tiresome. Molly Hemingway, $1 million. Marjorie Taylor Greene, $11 million. Blackburn, $41 million. Hillary Crowder, $20 million. It's just, do you know what I mean? It's like when I can do a spreadsheet. Yeah, this took me like a whole week. I just want you to know how much time I wasted on this. How do I do the average? I think I can make it equals the sum. 'Cause I know, but the problem is I have these not married in there. I know I did it and the average was around $2 million, but I can't remember how I calculated it. Is it in sheet 2? Oh, I think this was someone I shared it with was trying to organize this for me. Yeah, and then this is, I wanted to go through, like, did they take child support, alimony, Me Too, a shady past? Did their public profile decrease after marriage and children, cheating allegations, height of their husband? But that was just going to take me too long. I did not have the time. Did she take her husband's last name? A good percentage, it's no, because we got yes, Riley Gaines, it's hyphenated. Evita, hyphenated. Isabella Brown did. The girl, the last name Franklin did. Lauren Chen didn't. Sarah Gonzalez didn't. Shakina Gray did. Cameron Brew, it's hyphenated. Like, I think the majority of these say no. Candace Owens didn't take her husband's last name. And that's really, like, these are the questions that really are going to, like, answer, is she conservative or not conservative? Please do not sue me. This was the best of what I found online. So this is subject to, this was the best of my researching abilities that was on the internet and public information. And some of these are dated. Like, I think some people got married in this. But yeah, I mean, it's just a little bit of like, yeah. So okay, we're going to bring this back. We're going to go back to the show.
Of women who spent their 20s focused on their careers and rejecting men, to the point where now these women have decided that they don't even like men. They don't even want men in
Pearl, you were doing great work for the MRA and MGTOW community by giving the platform to Mr. Paul Elam and Mr. Anil Murti from SIFF. Kindly bring them back for more panel discussion, please. I would love to have them back, actually. Women talk, men listen, men who... Oh, I just read that already. They're great. I would love to have them back. When is Pearl going to get married and start having kids? I'm going to live stream it. I'm thinking about, should I live stream? I think that's the way I'll go. I'll just live stream it all. I'm just kidding.
Okay. They do not need them. Take a look at this article published in the New York Times. It reads, "The trouble with wanting men." And the subtitle reads, "Women are so fed up with dating men that the phenomenon even has a name, heterofatalism. So what do we do with our desire?" And yes, guys, we finally have a term for this phenomenon, heterofatalism, or as I like to say, women that just don't like men. And because I know that we are all interested in the backstory, this article was written by a woman who, number one, was in an open marriage and then divorced her husband after deciding that she wanted to be with another one of her male partners who never wanted a committed relationship with her. Number two, says that men are, quote, "what is rotten in this state of straightness." Number three, ridiculed men over dinner at a vegan restaurant with girlfriends. Says that the men she wants are, quote, "not wanting me badly enough, not communicating with me clearly enough, and not devoting themselves to me." She seems like a peach. And lastly, writes all of this in a magazine rather than a personal diary. And in the end, this writer can't figure out why she's struggling to find men who want to date her, even though she says they are rotten and they are not doing enough things for her. Again, it's that hyper-independence where you believe that the world revolves around you and everybody has to fit perfectly into your life, rather than just being a good human being and compromising and understanding that relationships are a dance ebbing and flowing, but in this modern world with modern women, that is apparently just not a thing. But back to the article, this author has turned all of this, all of her issues, everything we just read, into a problem with men, instead of taking any kind of accountability for her own attitudes or her own actions that are 100% pushing away men.
Okay, we're gonna...
As though by tact agreement to be each other's comforting
We're gonna continue. Here.
Is so close. I mean, she just barely touches it, and then immediately the plane takes off again, and we go back to her acknowledged default of just playing the female victim. Because, of course, blaming men for all of your problems and just opting out of dating entirely is easier than taking responsibility for your life and your situation and working to become a better human being that people would want to date. Working to become somebody who is open to relationships that are messy and complicated and involve chaos and involve fallible people who are men and women. All of us are fallible people. And this,
we are not the same. They always default to this egalitarian. Oh, we're all infallible people. Really? Are men assets or liabilities to women's lives in general? Are women assets or liabilities to men's lives? Always. We're always a liability. There's no such thing as a female asset. Women bring chaos. It does not exist. It doesn't. So it's always subtle, but they go back to the egalitarianism.
This whole attitude sounds so familiar to me. I mean, just go on X. It sounds like the incels, and this is how you end up with op-eds and situations like this. This was from the New York Times recently. Men, where have you gone? Please come back. So many men have retreated from intimacy, completely missing the point. And I love how this author in the Times...
Okay, I've had enough. Can I actually get a Zoom link? Because we're going to bring Doug MPA on. Okay, so last part of the show. My point is you can't have a traditional marriage in this country. I would like to clarify, I don't think they're doing anything wrong. Obviously, I love entertainment. I love showbiz. And this is a great industry. But we got to call this what it is. If you're broadcasting your marriage and family on the internet, that's cosplay. That's not traditional. You cannot have a traditional marriage in this society because it's only traditional as long as the woman says. Men do not have the power, no matter how much they want to market that to you online. If your wife wants to leave, she's going to leave. If she wants to ruin your life on the way out, she's going to do it. She has the power of the police on her side. She has the power of the media on her side. She has the power of her friends on her side. She has the power of the community on her side. She has the power of social media on her side. She has the power of pretty much everything. The school is going to be on her side. So if she wants to be traditional, then yeah, sure, it'll be traditional. But the problem is forever is a long time. And when we are scorned, angry, and pissed, there's no telling what we're going to do. Unfortunately. So, unfortunately, we can't really be in traditional marriages in this country. And anybody that says that you can be is selling you a dream. Until the laws change. I would love to see conservatives advocate for the law to change, which is going to bring me to the next part of the show. So I have this idea for a documentary called What's in It for Men. Now, the idea is we are going to be going, what's in it for men? We are going to kind of contrast young men and old men, where you have young men in the documentary talking about what they thought they would get out of marriage, like maybe on their wedding day or something, and then talking to older men and seeing if they got what they thought they'd get. And it's really going to be just me asking the question, what do men get out of marriage? And we have a presentation. I want to keep you guys in the loop on the documentary. We're now in the search for a team to do the documentary, and we're raising money. And I do want to first say, I know he's on the call, I'll bring him up in a second. I do want to first say we got a big donation. I'm going to pull it up on this one. There is a GoFundMe link in the description, but we got a huge donation from one of my supporters, and I want to say thank you for donating to the GoFundMe. Hold on. I don't know if he wants his full name, so I'll just say his first name. I'm pulling it up. Hold on. Okay, so in the last day, thank you to Keith. We got an anonymous $100 donation. And we also, wait, hold on. What the hell? Wait, hold on. Let me refresh it. I know I had it. We got an anonymous, I don't know if he wants me to say his name, so I'll just say thank you live. An anonymous $10,000 donation in the last day. So I want to thank you for donating it. I'll say your name next show if you want it, but I don't know if you want it out there. But I really appreciate you sending the money, and it helps us fund this documentary. So we're really trying to get to $100,000 raised for it. I'm going to show you guys the trailer that we made. I've played it in previous shows. And you guys actually, if you sign up for the Audacity Network, I want to have like a focus group we can show different edits of the documentary to on the website. So behind a paywall, when we have a question about the way we want to edit something, I actually want you guys to be a part of directing it in a way, you could say. So where you can help make choices in different editing styles. It's going to be a very trusted group. It's going to be a small group that we allow to do that because we can't have footage getting leaked or anything. But yeah, I really want to get this documentary out this year. They really don't want it to come out. They put me on a government watch list, demonetized me, and really made my life hell for a year and a half. But we're back, and we are going to get this done. So let me go full screen, and then we'll bring Doug MPA up.
So there's this clip going viral online of a dozen women being asked the following question: do we need men? Most answered very quickly, no.
Because men are useless. I mean,
this headline from The Hill, it caught my eye. Most young men are single. Most young women are not.
Young men have fallen faster than any demographic in America over the last 40 years.
It's a different world now. Like, we don't need men the way that they used to.
Nobody needs men!
The future is female.
Men and women are drifting further apart, and society is crumbling because of it.
A fascinating debate has broken out about the value of marriage.
You've kind of got the trad con versus red pill thing.
This men's rights crowd that sometimes just goes too far the other way.
You need to stop acting like grown boys and infants and actually become men.
Marriage is a bond, and it's a sacred bond.
It's a machine designed to extract resources from you.
Now many of the red-pilled have taken the position that it's bad for men to get married.
Hannah Pearl Davis, or just Pearly things.
One of the most controversial faces in all of the internet.
She goes on to say that marriage is a terrible deal for men.
Because if me and you were in a business contract, you would never sign a contract where I am paid to leave.
Gee, what could go wrong there?
74% or something of divorces are initiated by women. Men have everything to lose, primarily their own children.
Men get killed by the courts and by divorce laws.
I had no idea that courts of family law were courts of equity, not courts of law.
Because in family court, you don't need evidence to accuse someone of abuse. You need no evidence.
When you guys say get married young, a lot of these men don't know what they're signing up for, and you're not going to be there when their entire life falls apart. I interview them on the other side.
I didn't meet my son until he was 15 months old.
How much did you spend trying to get him back?
On legal fees alone was about $200,000.
Before you know it, you're homeless. You're literally just thrown out onto the street.
We absolutely reinforce bad behavior from women.
Wives are taught to leave their husbands, and then daughters grow up without their fathers.
Family is the foundation of society.
Every problem in society comes from single mother homes.
A lot of women will just chase this negative rabbit hole of happiness, endless happiness.
Feminism's biggest failures is it lies to women. We tell women to date as many guys as possible. We tell them to put off family and a marriage.
You are allowed to leave your perfect husband. You are allowed to end a relationship with a really great boyfriend.
Oh, freeze your eggs, have an abortion. What? You're evil.
I don't think there's anything else in life that we actually ever go into preparing to fail.
Right.
Like if you have the mentality of this is going to go wrong and be pessimistic, naturally the outcome is going to be that it's going to fail anyway. Yeah. It's self-sabotage.
And that's the thing, like women are so willing to leave marriages because they're not happy. This is not about happiness. The most important thing is the children. And the problem is we have a modern society where it's me, my feelings, leave when I feel like it, instead of doing what's best for the kids.
This myth that we live in an age of male privilege. Where's my male privilege?
They think, well, men have all the rights. They have all the power.
Privileged patriarchal system that we have.
Why doesn't our society care about men's rights?
I have no friends.
No wife and no social life.
Men are alone in this situation. Men are homeless. Men are thinking about eating guns.
I've seen so many men on the brink of suicide and they didn't do anything wrong.
How are you equal if the men are the ones that have to fight and die to defend the country? The men are the ones that build and maintain all the infrastructure.
Women are helplessly dependent upon men.
The so-called deaths of despair from suicide, overdose, or alcohol, 3 times higher among men than among women.
Culture is telling men, you are no good.
You got to get your act together.
I think men have failed themselves.
What kind of a man are you? What kind of a woman are you going to attract?
If men are in trouble, so are women.
Everybody knows this is a huge problem, but nobody wants to admit it.
Every single woman at the table said they wanted a man.
500K,
500K, 300K,
200K.
Am I crazy?
Everything is really set up against you to fail as a man.
If men make less than women, women don't want to marry them.
So you know who wants more economically and emotionally viable men? Women.
I don't want to be an independent woman anymore.
I don't want to be a strong, independent woman.
I'm over it.
When is it going to be my turn?
Where are we meeting the men that don't stop?
I can't keep having these same conversations.
The only simp here is you, Pearl. You simp for men.
I think you simp for women.
She's a provocateur. She says stupid stuff. But Pearl is right about this.
It's already happening. It's just not out in the open yet.
Now it's just hookup culture is going to be our fairy tale ending because men don't want a wife and women can't find a husband.
The future, if everybody follows your path, is there is no future.
We go into population decline and our economy goes into decline.
Civilization will crumble.
The American story does not end well. This is an existential crisis, failing young men.
So we're going to go through this slideshow that Doug MPA actually made, which was awesome. Doug MPA, he's on the line. How are you?
1 second. Oh.
It's okay.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Excited about this divorce documentary finally moving to the next phase. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, guys, we kind of want to do an overview because we're asking you guys for money to make the documentary. So we want to make sure that you guys understand what we're doing with the money, what the storyline is for the documentary, and just what we're trying to do with this. So the idea behind the documentary is called What's in It for Men. So it's a divorce documentary. And what I want to highlight is that, a lot of times conservatives, they always, and it's the left too, they nag men and they say men aren't doing enough. And men as people, they really, when they're incentivized to do something, they'll do it. And what I'm trying to show is that a lot of the incentives are broken. They're dropping out of school, because they're dropping out of the military and now they're not getting married. And it's because we do not have the incentive. So this is the overview. So we can go to the next one. So this would be put out on my network, which is the Audacity Network. We have an app and they can see it, right? And it can go behind a paywall. The first documentary I would like to be free, but that is subject to change, but I would love for the first documentary to be free and just put out on YouTube. So we have 2 million subscribers here, and, I've been on Pierce Morgan. I've been on a lot of big shows. People know my face. I think really it would be a good place to distribute the documentary. Doug MPA, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I've always praised Pearl's YouTube presence. If you knew the impact, you guys are here, so you guys know the impact that Pearl's had on the YouTube space. She's one of the few creators where she's created her own lane. There are people that try to mimic her YouTube strategies, but there's only one Pearl Davis, and she's going to be able to use her YouTube platform to be able to get this documentary and the documentary's message out there.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know when it comes to documentaries, what takes the most time is really, and cost, I would say, is the higher quality filming and the editing costs. Editing, in my experience with YouTube, that's like something that just takes the most amount of time. So documentaries it's going to be about 90 minutes. It's going to be highly edited. And the idea is if someone was to invest a significant, portion in this, ideally we want to keep making these. We want to keep doing them. Okay, so what men are facing is 50% of first marriages end in divorce, 63% of second marriages end in divorce, 80% of divorces filed by women, and 90% of men are caught by surprise. 85% of the time the mother gets full custody, and 70% of Iraq veterans return to divorce within 5 years. If you do not pay child support, they take your driver's license, your professional license, they'll seize all your assets, they will take your passport so you can't run away, and they take your freedom eventually, and if you resist, they take your life. Of 15% of the time where men get custody, 7% of the time it goes uncontested, and when you back out this 8% of the time men get custody contested. So we all know this is a huge problem in the United States. There's many men that have committed suicide from this issue. There's many men that are homeless, and there's just not a lot of media attention because, as we've said many times on this channel, if there's $10, you make $8 off of women, you make $2 off of men. So this is just an underrepresented issue. The project synopsis, our documentary will give voice to the millions of men facing divorce, revealing the hidden emotional, financial, and psychological tolls on fathers. With access to divorced fathers, legal experts and other professionals will expose the systemic biases while showcasing resilience and hope. So the idea is the documentary is going to shine a light on this issue. Doug MPA, you got anything else?
Guys, we all know somebody, your father, your brother, uncle, best friend, who's gone through something like this. And remember, guys, I've been divorced. I can tell you, if a marriage ends, it's the man's fault. No. If the marriage ends because of something the man did, it's the man's fault. If the marriage ends because of something the women did, it's the man's fault. So documentaries like this connect men, kind of like the red pill space, and say, hey, you're not alone out here. A lot of other men have gone through something like this. And also, here's the thing. In my lifetime, 50% of men, the majority of men are still going to want to get married, or have kids. But we want you to make an informed decision. So if you get divorced, you're not, filming a video in your car into the front camera crying about it, or you're ready to pick yourself up and move on with your life without considering doing something like unaliving yourself. So that's the point of this documentary.
So some of the people that we would like to get in this documentary, this is some of these interviews have been done, some haven't. We'd like to fly them in. Again, we want to show the profound impact that this has had and just how devastating these laws have been to the men in this country. And the whole storyline is we keep asking people, what do men get out of it? And nobody can answer that question. So we have Jeff Younger. He's a North Texas dad who sounded the alarm on social media in his blog about the bitter public custody battle over 7-year-old identical twins with his estranged wife, a pediatrician. The dispute focused on the transition of one of the twins who was assigned male at birth but lived as a girl at the mother's house. So this was this viral clip. Here, if I'm gonna play it.
You're a boy, right?
No, I'm a girl.
Who told you you're a girl?
Mommy.
So mommy told you you're a girl?
Uh-huh.
Does mommy do anything else like with a girl with you?
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
Like dresses.
What does she do?
She puts them on me.
She puts dresses on you? Oh wow.
She buys my headbands.
Uh-huh.
And she gets me hair clips.
Oh, hair clips? Okay. Mm-hmm. What else? Does she do anything with your fingers?
Yeah.
What?
She paints my nails.
So mommy puts you in a dress and puts nail polish on you?
Mm-hmm.
And what does mommy tell you?
She tells me I'm a girl.
Oh, okay. Do you think you're a girl?
Uh-huh.
You do?
The state of California says that I have to pay for the chemical and physical castration of my son as child support. Started when my son was about 2 years old. My ex-wife, who's a pediatrician, started thinking that he might be a girl and started trying to transition him to a girl. When I tried to put a stop to that, she filed for divorce and used her relationships with care providers to force me out of my house. She would put him into timeout and say, don't be a boy. The monsters only eat boys. Weird things like this. James never presented as a girl with anyone but his mom. At church, with me, with his friends, he dressed as a boy and called himself James. I asked him one time, why are you doing that? He just flat out told me, he said, well, mommy doesn't love me if I'm not a girl.
Yeah, heartbreaking, right? And again, this is all legal. What authority did that guy have over his children? It's why I'm so passionate about the topic, because you interview these guys, and someone needs to sound the alarm on this stuff. Oh, this was the presentation that didn't have it. Well, Terrence Popp, he was a 30-year, I forgot the picture in here, but he was a 30-year war veteran. He was a combat veteran, and his wife left him while he was recovering from an injury he received while serving his country. And she took everything from him, and she killed his dog. No consequences. Guess who got custody? Not him. I mean, this is more military veterans have committed suicide than all of the world wars combined. That's how prevalent of a problem in that's how prevalent of a problem male suicide is. But they're not talking about this. They're downplaying it, and they wave their hand at men and say, get married anyway. Caesar Quintana is a father whose wife took his son to a literal war zone. So this was during the Ukraine war. This was the guy that was in Michael Knowles' church. So he met this girl at Latin Mass, literally from Michael Knowles' church in California. That's where he met. What more do you want the guys to do? And she stole his kid, went back to the Ukraine, and he actually went into the Ukraine to get his kid during the war zone. And what happened was he tried to take his kid back to America, but there's no extradition laws. So, meaning that if a woman essentially steals your kid and runs back to her home country, because she was from another country, you don't have any rights to get the kid back. Like, there's no laws in the United States of how to get the kids that are stolen to other countries. So he's in this war zone. He finds his kid. He tries to take her back. They call the police. The police take his son back, and he's like devastated, right? And obviously they take his son back. There's nothing he can do because he's surrounded by all these police, and they take his ID. And he's stuck in Ukraine during the war. And he was actually pronounced dead because the guy that took his ID got blown up in the war. So they pronounced him dead on the news. He ends up staying in this war zone for like a year, trying to get his kid back. He eventually gives up and then goes back to America, and he just says life is completely lost without his kid. And again, it makes me wonder why the conservatives aren't talking about this issue when this is happening. This happened in the church you used to go to, or like the church that you went to. You knew him. Now, these are just my, if I could have anybody in this, these are my Hail Marys. You never know. It would be cool to get Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Tom Brady, or Crowder in this. None of them have agreed to this, but you never know. Doug MPA, do you have anything to add before I move on?
You guys see in the news what men are going through. Brad Pitt's adopted children that aren't even his biologically. One of them took his last name off of her name. Angelina Jolie is literally brainwashing his kids against him. Tom Cruise doesn't even have a relationship with Suri, his kid with Katie Holmes. And then, come on, Tom Brady's ex cheated on him with the jiu-jitsu instructor and is having another kid. And then Crowder's Crowder. So they're maybe not that kind of level, but there are men out there who are of status that are going to want to tell their stories. It's just getting access to them. If we put out enough documentaries, because this is going to be number one in a series, we should be able to get to a higher tier of men going through all this crap.
Yeah, because the idea is we would love to have a full-time editor just here that can just keep doing these documentaries. The problem, and I'll tell you, it's why this keeps getting delayed. You know, you have costs to run the show. Like, you know, you still have to do the show, and that has expenses. So we really just need to raise enough money to completely pay for the documentary because, yeah, you really need an editor full time. Go ahead.
Hey, Pearly, I'm going to send you, because remember the lawyer guys in there too. Look, let me send you the latest and greatest version. Give me 1 second. And I edited out the slides too, so it's safe.
Okay.
1 second, you guys. Make sure to like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribed. We're on our way to 3 million subs. Go over to the audacitynetwork.com and sign up. It's $10 a month. And you get to be part of the Audacity chat where Pearl will read your chat if you put Pearl Read next to it. Give me 1 second. Latest and greatest. And 1 second, you guys. Okay, open. 1 second. Send. Okay, it's adding attachments and then sending. Go to your email.
I'm in it.
And then just give a quick, because I took out all the stuff that we agreed on. So just give it a quick once over. And in fact, guys, who are some put some celebrity men in the chat that you would want to see a divorce documentary on? Because off the top of my head, I can think of Kevin Costner, especially his first divorce in the 90s, and then remember he just went through it again with his second wife, where he had an ironclad prenuptial agreement, and she tried to say that she didn't know what understood meant when she signed the prenup.
Do you know? Is that? I think I met him. I would not met him. I think I saw him when I was in LA. I should ask.
Yeah. Who are some other guys put in the NFL? No, I'm sorry. Put in the chat who you would want to see in a divorce documentary. Oh yeah, Johnny Depp, Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Kurt Cobain. Come on, guys. That's messed up.
Yeah, and
Tyrese.
Yeah. Again, I've talked to some pretty big distributors that would be interested in distributing this. The challenge has just been, I mean, these things are expensive, guys. This stuff is not cheap. So we gotta raise the funds. We've done a decent job. I think we're at like 40 or 50K, but I'm being honest, some of the quotes I got have been like 5 times that. So, you know, go ahead.
Robert De Niro. Oh yeah,
Doug. I'm still not getting this. Oh wait, no, I just got it here.
Robert De Niro got fleeced by 2 different B-dubs. Yikes! But Paul McCartney, I mean, yeah, he's still alive, isn't he? Will Smith is never getting divorced, guys. Come on now, never. I put the house on that. He's never getting divorced. Keanu Reeves was married and divorced. I didn't know that. Jim Carrey, I know he was divorced because he's married to that Lauren chick. Oh yeah, and then Ben Affleck's latest divorce from Jennifer Lopez, where she's like, my divorce from Ben Affleck is one of the best things to ever happen to me. Yeah, right.
I don't know why this just isn't converting for some reason. It's okay. It's okay. This one's fine. It's okay.
Oh, but the other one looks so much better. Okay, that's cool. Whatever.
I think we got like 2 slides. It's okay.
Okay.
I mean, we could do it again a different show because this is gonna be repeated until we get the right one. But
Okay.
so yeah, some comparative documentaries. Matt Walsh is What It Is a Woman. Cassie J's The Red Pill. George Sorge's Divorce Corp. Ideally, we do documentaries. I would love to do 2 to 3 documentaries a year. Again, I have a lot of the pieces in place. Like I already have an app to release them. I already have a following. And again, I would have been able to pay for it if YouTube didn't ruin my life for a year and a half. Now, we're in the rebuilding phase, so we just got to keep raising money. So, yeah, that's really just where we're at. We're trying to raise money. I even have distributors that are willing to put it out, but again, they don't want to pay because it's a lump sum of cash that you just kind of have to give to. We are accepting sponsors. I don't want to talk numbers on a show like publicly, but so if you're interested, you can email me just pearlythings@gmail.com, or you can just donate in the GoFundMe. But if you want a significant donation, it might be worth emailing me about. All right, positive association with just Pearly Things and the Pearl Davis brand. So it would allow you to be associated with the brand. We're open to some sort of partnership. If you have a product that's for men, it might be a good idea. Some people, I know they can do this kind of thing to write off on their taxes for like donations, and then you could tell people you donated to a good cause. And then marketing, the documentary can be a unique marketing asset for your brand with the potential for cross promotion or integrated content that resonates with an audience on a deeper level. Doug MPA, you got anything else?
Just in general, the the goal is for the Just Pro Things YouTube channel and then Pearl Davis and the Audacity Network to become a distributor of male centric documentaries, and slowly build maybe over the years to be a premier distributor of male centric documentaries when it comes to red pill type content. So that is the ultimate goal. And then with consistent support from sponsors and donors, this What Is In It for Men will be finished in a timely manner and be a high quality product. And guys, interest in divorce documentaries and other topics pertaining to men's issues will only increase over the years, guys. People are starting to wake up. I have a young nephew and his friends, and they're in their early 20s talking about red pill stuff, and they're not making the same mistakes my dumb ass made when I was 20.
Yeah.
So there is going to be an audience for this. So we need your support. If you could support in any way possible, go to the GoFundMe and hit the donate button. All super chats go towards the divorce documentary, and then make sure to go down, go to the audacitynetwork.com and sign up for a membership, because all that money goes towards the divorce documentary too. So thank you in advance for all your support, guys. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, because I've always really liked social media, and it's always been important to me for it to be accurate and representative of today's society. And I really just want to create media that is accurate and more, and that shines light on men's issues. So yeah, we want to make this a series.
And one last thing. So, every couple of years, people are like, oh, yeah, the red pill's gonna die. Oh, yeah, what about... But modern women are gonna keep being modern women, guys, and it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
So, once again, this market's only gonna get bigger, and there's more money to be made and more stories to be told. So,
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, guys, if you want, in the link you can donate, and Yeah, I mean, I just want to keep you guys posted with what we're doing. We might give this presentation a few times. We're trying to iron it out so when we give it to like big investors and stuff, that it's just a smooth cat. So if you have any suggestions, put it in the comments, Doug MPA, you got any final thoughts?
Nope. I'm just really glad that we got this presentation together, and we're actually getting this thing moving. So onward and upward. Let's go.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for making this, Doug. It looks nice, so we appreciate you. Put a 1 in the chat as a thank you for Doug. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Like the video on your way out, subscribe. And I have a lot of video ideas for these documentaries, and I'm excited to produce them. So I have a lot of the big pieces. Okay. We made the app. We have the following. I just need money for the documentary to make that part. And I believe that this will be profitable long term. So I think after the first one, we're going to be able to roll these out a lot faster once we get a smooth system going. So like the video, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.